Karthik.
Good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Welcome,
Good
welcome,
night.
welcome to another episode of Weekly Squeeze with E.O. and Karthik. How exciting is it?
Great to be here, Karthik, and welcome everyone. Let me just remove this. Okay, background. Um, how was your weekend, Karthik, my friend?
Productive. Didn't do much, but spent time with the kids and hanging out outside. It's a nice 70-degree weather here in San Diego, so perfect to be on the beach and had some fun. How about you?
Um, I had a very busy week, so I kind of and I've been on vacation for a while, so
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah,
right.
I just caught up on all the errands that I needed to get done with, so I can't complain.
Sounds like fun.
So, Karthik, what I was thinking, like every week we do, we get the kind of your playbook for the market up front.
Yeah,
Uh, Perhaps share a little bit of crypto up front, and then we look at the money calendar, um, the patterns for this week, what the historical data says. I did post squeezes, the scan results for squeezes and Market Cipher, so we can take a look at those.
yeah,
A lot more results for both bullish and bearish. Used to be a lot more for bullish. Now we're getting the list bigger and bigger for bearish too. So that's interesting to me. But we'll see what that means.
yeah. That's it's going to be exciting. Exciting week actually. With they bumped gold this evening and bonds kind of getting sold off. So let's take a look at some of this stuff. It'll be uh, probably interesting weekly game plan for the upcoming week, and would love to get some of your thoughts as well. So let's get the ball rolling. Hamid, welcome to the session here, my friend. Anybody else? You guys can hear us okay, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I think we're okay.
All right.
So let's get started, Karthik. Let's see. What's your view for the week?
All right. I'm going to share my screen here. Perfect. All right. So tell me if you guys can see my weekly game plan screen. So let's go
Yeah.
through this.
Sorry, before you start, did you
Yeah.
do a gold trade tonight?
I had a gold trade. I'm off at 1825. Oh, it's 1736 now.
Yeah.
Oh.
It bounced very nicely at the level you shared it with us earlier. So
Yeah.
I was just curious, and Market Cipher confirmed it as well. Like we could have taken it, but I didn't.
Yeah. I mean, I did trade from 1700 to 17. I just got in a little bit earlier than the signals, but so you want to talk about gold first? Let's do it.
Go ahead. I didn't want to interject. I just remembered us like exchanging that you start with the overall market, and then obviously let's cover gold as part of that.
Yeah, I know that these were some of the things on my weekly game plan to discuss. Some of the major scheduled events to watch, and some of the general review of the markets and sectors. And I had a follow up on gold and bonds. We did a thorough session last week in terms of the seasonality of gold and bonds last week. Let's take another look at gold and bonds and see how we could trade them and how our analysis turned out in gold and bonds would be interesting here. Let's just take a quick look at some of the major events to watch. I guess last week you probably all saw the FOMC. Um, um, I guess the FOMC meeting happened, right? And all the things in terms of kind of the market gyrations going into it and coming out of the market from that meetings. So this week, I think you guys should mainly focus on this the CPI inflation numbers on Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Um, uh, the the inflation numbers came in pretty hot last month, so I would definitely keep an eye on that. That could be a big market moving event for next week. And Thursday, you have PPI and jobless claims on Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. So that's one other kind of thing to take a look at. There are a couple of FOMC member speakers as well coming up on Monday, so keep an eye on that. And the last thing is, if people are trading the grains and some softs, so there's a WASD report on Thursday. So to keep your kind of keep an eye out on those kind of reports that can be a big market moving events next week. So those were some of the major kind of the events that I am kind of focused on.
I wasn't. I didn't know like FOMC had members speaking this week. I thought this was supposed to be a little quieter week. We get them every week.
Yeah,
these days.
there were. I mean, after the a couple of Bostic speaking on Monday. I think we can look it up here quickly. So forexfactory.com. If you go to the calendar, for whatever reason, it's done slow. Let's see. Oops. More. Oh, right here. 10 a.m. on Monday, FOMC member Bostic. I think, and then there's somebody else barking too. I guess, sorry, member Barkin at 12 p.m., another FOMC member. And then I think there's some other guys coming in during the week. So this is how I kind of scan every day, first thing in the morning. So you can use forexfactory.com. I mean, even though it says Forex, but you can go get the calendar for the Europe and some of the bigger events scheduled events happening at in the US sessions, and see where the impact's going to be. For example, here.
Would you mind putting the link in the comment box? If you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Janak says hi. Janak, welcome to the session.
Yeah, and then Wednesday also you see the FOMC members speaking here as well. So there are a bunch of guys, so just keep an eye out. Those guys can move the markets if they open their mouth. So that's some of the things that I look at. I'll post the link. I'll share the workflow link with you guys. Which will have this link, which will give you guys the overall view. So with that said, let's kind of dive right into the markets with NQ and ES. I think last week we touched upon these two markets where there could be potential opportunity to get in from a long bias perspective. So directionally, I am on NQ and ES, directionally, I'm kind of long biased. Give me 1 second. It takes forever to refresh if I'm on a StreamYard for whatever reason. So let's just. Okay. So let's just take a look at this NQ. So what we discussed for the markets to pull back to the zones where you want to get long. So it's still not given me the pullback. I mean, this is the 13 exponential. This yellow dot is the 13 exponential moving average right here. What I really want is to market to move to this zone here, which is the 21 exponential moving average, which is this kind of the yellow line that you guys see. That would be kind of moving to the mean. Hopefully we get some kind of a downward pressure this week, so we can look at certain markets, especially going, I guess, especially the QQQ and the related sectors in the ETF associated with that, which will dive a little bit deeper in a second here. And ideally, I would like to see the market here at the 34 exponential moving average, and that would kind of get the ball rolling. But to do that, the market has to come down, right? So what do we have signals here? If you what signals? I mean, I do see the RAF signal firing off today, which is the Ready Aim Fire Pro signal, which probably should get us there. And then you have the squeeze that you want to look at, but if this squeeze stays like this, it looks bullish to me at this point in time. So I would prefer a bump down to this EMA so we could kind of get long. Is the way kind of I'm looking at this market on NQ. And similar explanation goes to ES. If you give me 1 second, I can pull up the ES chart here. All right, so this is my ES chart. Again, just to reiterate, just to make sure you guys are on the same page, the market, when I say I'm bullish, it's basically these two things, right? One is the wave, the upper part of the wave and the lower part of the wave. The upper part of the wave basically is my sentiment, right? And then my lower part of my wave, which is the second piece, which is kind of determines what is the trend of this market, right? So both are saying, looking for me is basically double green. And when I say double green, so 8, 13, and 21 exponential moving averages and the 34 EMA, both are trending in the bullish direction for me. And then that's a bullish market for my intraday trading purposes. And you can always kind of wait for this. I mean, I'm not going to be buying at the top of the market here, but I would generally like a pullback to the zones that I look for to entertain potential longs. So with that said, as you see, right, I mean, it's all green bars. And so wait for the pullback, which the market gods can hopefully give us this week, and take a long trade. That's my ES and NQ.
Let me
Those are
let me show you on Market Cipher as well for ES.
Yeah,
And,
please.
So let me see. Can you guys see my share? So my window. Yeah.
Yep. You can see it.
So this is NASDAQ NQ. And as you can see, we have a red diamond on Market Cipher and a momentum wave turning down. So you may get your pullback this week. I agree with your sentiment. I think you see the money flow all green. The waves are kind of above zero line. But this week, what we're seeing is this is the weekly chart, right? Yeah, the VWAP is coming down, crossing down the zero line. We have a red dot, and we are overextended. And most likely we are going to get probably a minimum of 1 ATR pullback this week. It's possible. Yeah. So that's NQ. Yes. Yes, we do have VWAP kind of looking like it's going to cross the zero line down, which is always a slight pullback. ES is more bullish than NQ for weekly. Let me see the daily. Yeah, daily. VWAP is still above zero. So this week might be still, a sideways chop on ES. But NQ indicates a pullback, possible pullback.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I think especially after the FOMC last week. Last week was the FOMC meeting, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So generally, market will try to consolidate during the week after the meeting, and would be interesting. I mean, to see how they play out with this evening. I mean, let's just take a quick look at the gold and bonds and see how those are trading tonight, and what we discussed last week in terms of kind of gold seasonality, right? The gold, we said it's. Give me 1 second. Why is this not refreshing? Okay, so look at what we, with all cards on the table. I am long gold from 1800, so I didn't take the stop that I should have taken, but I've been trading back and forth today in terms of kind of with this bonk down in the gold. I'm not really sure what happened this evening. I know most of the markets, I guess most of the guys in New York are coming back from Hamptons, I would think, because of some low liquidity, right? I mean, maybe they kind of bonked it down. So it was a kind of good opportunity to get in. So one of the triggers that I was looking at to play the signals, which I was talking with Bruce and a couple of other folks last night, actually, of this setup that I generally look at.
Bruce is one, by the way.
Hey, Bruce. Oh, hey, Silver. How are you? So what basically the setup was this night that I played was this Keltner channel reversal. The Keltner channels are basically the channels here with my setups for a 5-minute basis. And once you see the channeling down of the gold prices below the Keltner channel, and then the way the setup works is once the close happens, I think within the next couple of bars, if it closes above the Keltner channel here, if you can see that, let me just expand it here so people can see. I'm not sure why it's so slow. Sorry about that.
I had the buy signal on gold as well.
Okay.
But I didn't take it.
Yeah, I know. I was long coming in, taking some losses from the higher price, so I had to kind of. So I saw some setups that I generally kind of look at, guys. So this is the setup. Sorry, my computer is kind of slow for some reason. Here is the setup. So the Keltner channels are this lines in here, the dotted lines, and then when it closed above the Keltner channel, I went long, and then we also had a confirmation with some of the exhaustion showing on the cyan dots that I look at from a trend perspective, basically saying that trends kind of coming to a halt or a change. So, and with my setups in place and this chart in here with the cyan dots, kind of gave me a trigger to enter. But my original target was just coming back to the mean of that. You see this orange line in here. So basically, that's the middle line of the Keltner channel. And then I had to kind of get out at this point. But I mean, you see there was a move to 1740 level here, which was, it worked out pretty good if you stayed in. But my original target was here, so I had to kind of scalp the process with this setup. But with the gold down, I think what we talked about last week, guys, was looking at gold from a seasonality standpoint. We said let's buy it, right? obviously, absolutely, we were wrong in terms of our analysis with looking at from a seasonality standpoint. So what I would like to say is, yeah, seasonality is a tendency, right? As I kind of mentioned it, but keep in mind, price can do whatever it wants, right? If the seasonality is bullish or bearish or whatever it is. In gold case, the seasonality was going long, but you know what happened with the price after this FOMC meeting. So I had one level in here, but what would I do on a go forward basis, right? Like what would I do right now? So the way I'm looking at this is I'm still kind of leaning on the bullish side. I think this could be my exhaustion zone that I'm kind of focused on at this point. Even though this is not a double green, I would like to get EO's thoughts on if there is a potential for any bottoming process here. So basically look for any kind of inside bar or you know, or kind of making a minor low pattern, which what I mean by that is, say on Tuesday, if it's making a lower low, oops, okay, making a lower low kind of thing on Tuesday, and then kind of we get a kind of up move. So that could be a one kind of potential trade in there, or look for like an inside bar setting up on Tuesday to see if that inside bar kind of stops the selling, and then we get a kind of movement back up to these kind of resistance zones up here. So EO, like if you could also kind of share your thoughts on gold, would be helpful. Obviously, I was wrong from a seasonality standpoint that I was looking at on last week. So just wanted to follow up on that and see how we could play this on a go forward basis next week.
Yeah, I look at market cipher to kind of time these entries. Like a gold chart for a long time has been very, very bullish, but then it got into this consolidation zone. And so I was looking for some pullbacks to really get in. I haven't, I got in and out gold, I think twice in the last 6 months, but I was waiting for a real pullback to get back in. So what I see is I want to see this market cipher wave to complete and give us a this week. This week, most likely I'm going to get into gold. I want market cipher to give us a trigger wave, green dot buy signal here. So that might happen somewhere around in this zone. And if that happens, so on the weekly this week, well, actually this is weekly chart, so this seems to need like one or two more. Yeah, it's probably gonna 2 more weeks before it gives the trigger wave. So we'll monitor this week the daily because we want to see the trigger wave on the daily. Right now, as you can see, market cipher, it looks like it's going to continue the bearish a little bit. So I want to see how the consolidation happens here on the daily chart. I want to see a trigger wave on daily. I want the stochastic to turn before I get in. Like something like this will happen, and then I'll take probably initially a short-term position for the long side. But still, it looks really, really ugly. We may need to come back down here. You see how we get these next couple of days of candles here. If this 618 level becomes a support, that would be great. And then we see this momentum wave turn, and then we see the VWAP here turn. So it looks like we need probably another week or two before we'll get a buy signal. So I'm gonna wait. So
very interesting. Okay, that helps. Can you look at also the 30 minutes and show us like how it's looking for just for intraday trading purposes?
Yeah, 30-minute looks. You got a divergence buy signal. Money flow is negative still, but it's turning. It's giving. remember, guys, when I was kind of teaching you all market cipher, I look at this curvature. I want to see a curvature here and the money flow changing direction. Like starting over here, the money flow like went, like this is a 30-minute, right? It went red and red and red. So this is, you know, at 2 days, 3 days of data, right? So, and then if you look at like a 4-hour chart, which may show you a couple of days, like on market cipher, we went from like green money flow to red. So like starting like July, like, you know, towards the end of July, you know, we're in the red zone. So this thing is going down. The other thing you can tell is not just the money flow signal, but also waves in the down. Like we got from, we kind of went into these bigger and bigger waves to the downside. And then you get the divergence signal up here. So there may be a few more, there may be, like I said, maybe 2 more weeks of down pressure. Maybe like the real pullback we're waiting for in you know, stocks. Maybe it's more like September. I don't know. Maybe a gold, and then turns around by then.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting play with the inflation, whatever transitory inflation that they're talking about. That may be the reason the gold is not getting traction to the long side.
I mean, look at this. This is the VXX, right?
Right. Okay.
And it's going down as well. So, like, as long as this thing is going down, I expect stocks to go up and be boring. So, like, I mean, yeah, this thing is going to continue to, it looks like, from the market cipher at least. Obviously, no one knows the future, but maybe it we're going to continue. We're going to have continued chop and kind of slightly going up, and it's going to be boring.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the VXX obviously it's at the bottom, right? So let's see how that plays out. If there's any volatility rising in VIX and all those kind of things that can happen if the market pulls back, right? So yeah. So we never know what happens, but as I said, I mean,
we'll watch the timing of VXX on market cipher to kind of have a heads up on hopefully the extent we can on some potential directional change on VXX indicating volatility coming. But, you know, it doesn't show it for this week, you know, perhaps even next week.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, good. Thank you for that, E.O. I think that helps from a gold analysis standpoint. So, I guess with that said, with this markdown, I mean, if you are brave enough to kind of take as I said, take a kind of a trade somewhere. I think this may be kind of the bottom, or wait for one more day to see if there's a lower low pattern or a potential inside day, and then we can kind of confirm and then take the trade. Wait till Tuesday kind of thing and see how the pattern sets up, and then we can make a decision if you really want to swing a trade back to the I guess some of us are expecting at least the market to go up to 1850, 1900 levels. I guess to make that happen, it has to kind of get through this choppy zone here. Would be interesting, since they kind of trapped all the longs here, pushing the markets down. So they may do that the same thing on the upside too. Trap the shorts and push the market up a little bit. So let's kind of wait and see how they play out. With the squeeze in place on the daily chart, could be interesting to watch. So keep this on the radar. Hopefully that helps from an analysis standpoint. Let's go back and look at the bonds. This is one of the charts we looked at last week as well, where the seasonality on this was bearish, but the chart looked bullish, right? If I can get the chart up and running here. Okay, finally it's up and running. Cool. So hopefully you guys can see my bonds chart now. So what we discussed last week was seasonality wise, it was bearish, right? But when I looked at the charts, I said nothing on my charts is showing me a bearish sentiment. Everything on my indicators that I watch is bullish. Double green bars, everything is bullish. What I really said last week was, let's wait for the pullback to happen here to the 21 EMA and or to the 34 wave, which is kind of this zone in here, to kind of enter into a bond long trade. So which I'm still kind of looking to enter into a trade on the long side, which I think hopefully we get some push down here. We had a wide range bar on Friday, so there may be some consolidation back and forth before we get the actual move. But I would like to see there's a little bit of pullback here to get my TLT calls or bond futures on the long side for a swing trade to at least get back to this point of control or the value area high for the month of August. So at least kind of, I'm not looking for any higher highs, but like at least get back to these levels once we get into the buy zone, into this neighborhood right here. So hopefully that kind of helps on the bond side. EO, like if you want to address bonds now from your perspective, would be helpful too. And we covered bonds the other weekend, the last weekend, I should say.
Yeah, let me take a look. Let's see. Take a look at bonds. So weekly. Yeah, weekly we're still above the EMA ribbon, so it's still bullish. Really, yeah, we're still above the EMA ribbon, but we are kind of in the middle. So it's, and also Cypher showing some divergences. Let me see. Yeah, VWAP crossed down. Money flow, it looks like it's gonna have curvature to the downside. So, like, you know, and as you can see, the momentum waves are coming down while we were going up. So this indicates to me we may be reversing on bonds. Possible continued downtrend on the day. Let me see if 4 hour looks likely. Yeah, 4 hour already crossed. So this momentum wave here. So if you do that, so you kind of see on 4 hour, we are like a green money flow, and then we're curving into red now. So you see how it was all red and we were curving into green, and you get all this move, Karthik. So the same thing can happen on the opposite. So you have this big green curvature, and the red has just started. So you know, we may get some decent pullbacks on bonds.
Interesting.
Again, that's the benefit of market Cypher a little bit.
Thank you. That helps. Hopefully, the team can take away some of those different opinions from our perspectives and figure out what the price action and read the tape on a daily basis to see how we want to trade certain setups in bonds and gold. I think having different opinions, different perspectives kind of helps, at least from my side too, to look at a market from a from a different viewpoints and take those viewpoints into consideration before placing my bets on a daily basis. I think that helps you. Thank you. So there's one other, I know we are into 35 minutes here. I want to cover one other thing, if you don't mind, E.O.
Go ahead. I'll pull up the money calendar in the meantime.
Okay. So there are a couple of things I wanted to look at. I mean, when I'm bullish on from an NQ and the ES, there are couple of sectors that I want to generally watch. On the SPY, I want to look at XLF and the financial sector, and the XLV, which is the healthcare. On the QQQ side, I just want to focus on certain sectors, which is the XLK, XLC, and the XLY, which is basically your XLK is your Apple and Microsoft, XLC is your Google, Facebook's kind of thing, XLY is the Amazon, and I think Tesla is another biggest component of XLY too. So look at these sectors and see what are the relative outperformers from a standpoint of picking the bullish side of the market. So from a standpoint of an XLF, for example, if you're looking at XLF, the way I kind of analyze the market is look at this. Let me pull this up in here. Oops, not here. Let me stream my the screen here, which shows my XLF sector. How do I look at kind of the performance in each of those sectors? Can you see my XLF kind of?
On my screen, so add yours.
Okay, let me see here.
Yeah, no, I just added it.
I don't know what, I can't figure out this. Give me 1 second. So let me remove this, add to stream. Oops. How do I add? Oh, maybe stop screen sharing and then add the screen sharing. Maybe that should work, I think.
Yeah.
Screen number 2, perfect. All right, let's just minimize this screen. So you guys can see my the grid that I have for the multi-chart, which shows all the financial sectors on the XLF. So what I generally do is every week, I kind of go back and look at the way, look at the index first. And then from the index, I go into sectors. And then from the sectors, I kind of dive into stocks, right? So you can, in this way, you could analyze which indexes kind of are bullish, and then dive in a little bit more deeper into which sectors to focus on. Once you figure out which sectors, and if you still want to play the tide or you want to play the individual boards, then you kind of go back and dive into each of these key stocks and look at the markets to play. For example, like XLF, even though this is not double green, it's in a sideways distribution market. You can also kind of look at the stocks like Morgan Stanley, for example, right, which is double green. And if you can get some kind of a pullback into this 34 EMA wave, I would kind of entertain from a bullish standpoint. That's one stock that I'm watching. And then this SPGI ticker symbol also is a double green. I mean, obviously, you're not going to entertain a trade at the highs of the zone here, but I would like to get back into the lower part of the zone, which is the 34 EMA wave, where I'm kind of generally want to see to trade to get into a long swing position. So the way I create my own watch list every week to kind of identify these kind of relative outperformers and keep that on my list. And I put some alerts in there where I want to kind of see if the market comes and gives me an alert in think or swim. Then I can go back and look at the chart and get a trade going from that standpoint. So this is how I kind of look at relative outperformers. There's a few other things you could do that I like to share. A couple of charts, right? A couple of websites that I use to manage or look at some of the things. If I can share that screen here so you guys can see what I'm looking at, which I will share all these links in the workflow link. Which is basically, it's a free website that I use called Sector Spider ETF, sectorspider.com, which is basically tells you all the sectors and the performance of each of the sectors, right? So you can go and select your time frames and look at the markets from a various standpoint and see if I can click on sector overview here. I mean, I do this on an intraday basis as well, because if you click on this 1 day basis here, 1 day here, so you can kind of see what the relative performance for the day is. Generally, I kind of focus on this XLF and XLV if I'm trading ES, but if I'm trading NQ, I look at this other sectors like XLC and XLY to see where the market on also the XLK as well, to see where the market is on an intraday basis, right? But keep an eye on this kind of thing if you're trading on an intraday basis to see which sectors are performing. And you can also scan the markets on 1 month and 3 month basis for identifying the swing trades and what sectors are performing better than the other sectors like XLE in this case, kind of weaker for last 3 months. So we can kind of do another, if folks are interested, we can always do another session on kind of detailed walkthrough.
Yeah, let's do that as a separate session. Let's get to the money calendar, Karthik. I think people are waiting for it. And
yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let me see. All right. Okay. I'm gonna share my screen. All right. So money calendar. I posted the scan results for tomorrow, basically the whole week, August 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So just to remind everyone what money calendar is. Money calendar looks at the price action last 10 years for this week and see if there are consistent patterns. If you were to, for example, take a trade on Monday, you bought something and then you sold 1 month later and the end date, and how many times would you be profitable? So that's looking at the historical price action and trading on that, and then looking at historical trade results. And if you have consistent results, 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, then it becomes relevant to take a look at. So we have a few 100% for Monday, but most of them are 90%. So, but it's nice to continue to see NVIDIA at the top of this list. NVIDIA has been on this list with a high power meter, with a strong move. It'd be interesting to see if it'll continue. So, Karthik, we'll probably look at NVIDIA chart. Let's keep that on the list. One thing I wanted to highlight for the members is that it's really August 11 when we see Amazon for the first time back again, and consistent winner. And actually, if you look at it, August 13th, I think Amazon is 100% win rate. So if you entered in a bullish trade on Amazon on the 13th and exited on September 15th, you had 100% win rate. So we should keep this in mind for Amazon. So I might potentially do an Amazon trade. Sometimes we may, the move actually might, by the time this move starts on the 13th as a confirmed trade, the move actually might start earlier than 13th. But, obviously the software tracks this based on the actual results. So that's interesting to me. Let me see. Do you guys see other things you're interested in here? Let me see. There are a few bearish plays too, but so I want to look at NVIDIA. There's also, QQQ bullish setups, Karthik. It's interesting. I mean, it's so extended that I do expect a pullback, but it's like 9 out of 10 years. QQQ continues to be bullish for this week as well.
Yeah, interesting.
Let me click on QQQ actually on the real site. Yeah, only in 2015 where it violated the move, but 9 out of 10 years it was all green around this time frame. So I posted all that. Let me see if there's another 100%. This NSC is 100%. I'm not sure what NSC is. We have to look them up. Yeah. And then NSC, yeah, again, 100%. Amazon 100% on Friday. Is Love JetBlue? Is that what it is?
It's Southwest, I think.
Southwest, yeah. Yeah, looks pretty good. XLK, as you can see on the calendar as well for August 13. 9 out of 10 years, it starts a positive move. So you want to quickly take a look at NVIDIA and Amazon?
Yeah, sure. I can. Let me share the screen here. So, I mean, I think I shared the screen before, which basically shows the stockcharts.com, the free website on the yield curve. Like E.O. was saying, right? You're seeing QQQ bullish and XLK. I think at the end of the day, I am bullish the NQ, as I said before from the beginning, unless you see the bond duration yield curve on that gets flatter, right? Now it's kind of the uptrending yield curve. If it gets kind of flatter, that's when I'll be concerned. So until I'm watching this very carefully every day, once these yield curve on different bond duration kind of flattens or kind of comes to like these curves, like from a downtrending curve, until then, I am going to buy any pullback into the my buy zones on any of the QQQ related markets. So with that said, let's jump into NVDA. Again, I'm going back to the same thing here. Yes, it's a very kind of double green market. So wait for. I'm not going to entertain here. I mean, if you want to buy a pullback into these zones here, anywhere between 195 to 200 level. I mean, it's a $3 move down here, but still on a downward kind of pressure. If you can kind of get some calls going, when it pulls back to 200, you can scale in. 192, 195 range here would be kind of ideal. So I know where my stops are, basically below this wave. But yes, NVIDIA is a bullish setup for me. What was the timing, did you say, on the NVDA on your money calendar? Was it for Monday or?
Yeah, let's take a look. NVIDIA is basically Monday buy, Tuesday buy.
Okay.
Yeah, Wednesday buy. Thursday.
Okay.
Every day is an NVIDIA day.
Okay.
It's pretty strong.
No, I think you're right. So we should just kind of keep this on the watch list, right? And this could be one trading vehicle for next week. Any pullbacks, I'll be kind of watching for potential long entries in here. I think that's a good idea. I like NVIDIA.
Yeah, me too.
What was the other? Perfect. Good.
Let's look at Love. Kosh one's LU.
Let's look at Love. Oh my God. Okay, the stock looks, the chart at least looks hideous here. But if you wanted, I don't know. I mean, there are better stocks to trade. Looks like kind of double red for me. Any pullback up to these levels, I would prefer to go short. It's below the 50-day moving average, below the 200-day, the red kind of dotted lines in here. So it's all below these moving averages. I am not going to entertain anything on the long side for LUV, Kaush. But if you are kind of looking to see if there's any pullback, you may want to kind of consider looking at the weekly chart and see if there is any setup there. But on a daily chart, I'm not seeing anything bullish to go enter into. But if you look at the weekly chart, right, the what do you call, the squeeze has been fired. So you may have actually 1, 2, 3, 4. You may have like 4 or 5 more weeks up to the downside if I'm kind of reading the squeeze right here. With this pullback, I mean, I am not. There probably what I want to say is I wouldn't trade this on the long side. There are better stock to trade like NVIDIA if you're trading this, trading the market. I don't know what your thoughts are on Love, Leo.
Oh yeah, so let me. Market Cipher actually kind of. Let me just. How do I share this back here? So. No, that's not what I want. Let's see. Share. Yeah, this is what I want. Okay. So I was looking at a Market Cipher. So Market Cipher is, really good at kind of catching the timing and the reversals and things like that, right? So I'm looking at a daily chart. Look at this. It's a very bearish chart, right? But look at how money flow curvature is coming kind of to the upside, and how the momentum waves on the downside getting smaller and smaller. So Love, if you ask me, if at these levels is a buy. Obviously you can wait till confirmation of above, buy it above EMA, but per Market Cipher on a daily scale, we have a buy signal. This is a divergence and a trigger wave buy signal right here. Let me see on the weekly. Weekly is really bearish, but it's about to give a weekly buy signal, guys. So you know, in terms of the chart, while the trend looks to the downside, money flow curvature, you know, on the 4 hour, for example, it's about to complete the negative journey, and it's about to go into the positive journey, and the momentum waves are getting smaller and smaller to the downside. So you have exhaustion, your potential really good buy on LUV based on market size. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah.
This is why I like Market Cipher. I mean, we should watch this, obviously. It doesn't mean it's going to work, but it is showing that the curvature, you know, here, especially on the, you know, 4 hour chart, you can see how the red money flow is completing a perfect curvature with the momentum waves getting smaller and smaller. All right, let's look at Amazon, Karthik. That's for Friday buy on the money calendar.
Yeah. This is pretty interesting. I'm not really sure I have an opinion on Amazon at this point in time, the way this is trading. So the way I kind of looking at Amazon may trade sideways in this zone. I mean, unless it breaks out of this zone, you know, either to the upside or to the downside, I've kind of entertained the trade, but maybe a good candidate for selling iron condors, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking at this point in time. But you know, the 200 SMA and the prop dot is right around here. I mean, if I want to get long somewhere in this region around 3250 area, could be a zone where I would like to entertain longs, either through selling a put credit spread. And one thing I should note to the group is we don't have oversold signal yet. I mean, there's a ready kind of signal. So I would like to see a ready aim kind of come, and then the ready aim fire and the fire signal, the magenta kind of arrows to make my decision. So ideally, I would like to kind of see some pullback in here to the 200 kind of support zone here on the 200 simple moving average, and then kind of see the signal triggers for my potential entry for long is my kind of takeaway from just looking at this Amazon chart.
Yeah, let me share my views. Looking at Market Cipher, it looks, you know, it looks on the 4 hour chart, there's still, you know, there's an attempt to reverse, but, you know, there's manipulation and consolidation going on. So I agree with you. I think, at least in the near term, perhaps it stays within a range. Even if it goes up to 34.40 or something like that, which may like a short-term bullishness, it's still in a downtrend. Yet, you know, everything's under the EMAs. The, you know, Market Cipher is still on the red, and it's not doing a, you know, not indicating, you know, at least big reversal. So I agree with you. It looks like a chop in the near term, so it may not be a good buy.
Yeah, I mean,
on the weekly though,
yeah.
weekly, as you can see, we're still above, like we're not fully above all the EMAs, but at least the EMAs are still stacked up, and we're at the buy zone on the weekly. However, Market Cipher indicates with VWAP below 0 that the weeklies potentially is going to break down to below the EMAs, perhaps come back and test this, you know, like we did here, before we go back up. Like if you look at how I was talking about like a perfect curvature on money flow, as you can see, like a higher money flow, waves to a lower money flow waves. At least a slight directional to the lower end. So it's interesting. So anyhow, I think lower time frames still indicate chop. We're still not a perfect buy yet. We'll see.
How long? Sorry, how long was the trade we need to hold as per the money calendar for Amazon?
That's 1 month. It's from Friday till September,
Gotcha.
like the September expiration. So we'll see. That's basically saying 100% trade. So
Interesting.
So let's see how these charts turn up by Friday, and see if our views change. But the weekly chart, obviously, is not going to change that much. Weekly chart, though, like I said, if this VWAP doesn't turn, like I want this VWAP to turn to the back to zero line this week, then I would be a buyer on Friday. That's the only way.
Yeah, makes sense.
And Karthik, I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin very quickly, okay?
Yeah.
While I saw a buy signal on Bitcoin on my one of my trade alerts.
Yeah. So just as you're looking at it, so if you guys have any questions or any other stocks or charts that you guys want to look at, please type in the comment section so we can kind of quickly go through, take like 10 minutes and go through any questions you guys may have or any other future kind of subjects that you guys want to cover during the sessions. Kind of post those in the comments. It would be helpful to kind of prepare for it for future sessions.
So,
sorry,
Karthik and the team online, guys, I was telling last week, I think, or week before, I can't remember, that we were about to get a weekly buy signal. We got the weekly buy signal this past week. And when I said that, we were at these levels below, like we were still in the 30K ranges. And look what happened since then. I mean, we are now in the 40K ranges. And this thing is going above the EMA, weekly EMA. And then money flow is all green. The stochastic turned. So we have like literally 3-4 more weeks of definitely bullish momentum. We're going to see VWAP is above zero line. Let me see daily. Daily looks really bullish. Look at this. I mean, this is a very nice reversal from, the 28K was the bottom, and then we turn. And then divergences on market cipher, the buy signals here, right? I was telling you guys when everybody was loading up on gold, I was telling you guys I was loading up on Bitcoin. So,
yeah.
And so the 4-hour indicates a pullback on market cipher. So as you can see, we went from a green money flow to a red money flow. So I think we'll see how this 4-hour plays out, but perhaps we come back down to retest the 40K level. But that could be what happens this week. As you can see, this momentum wave, it needs to come down and then create a smaller wave here, and then so it's a pullback to a buy the dip situation. So when you get the trigger wave here and buy signal again around like 41K, so it would come down and retest 41, and then you kind of buy back, or perhaps like the 40K is the golden pocket. So the 618, 40 to 41K is where there's a buy zone this week. I would, given the weekly scenario, any pullbacks to that 618 level would be a buy the dip situation for Bitcoin. Very quickly, Ethereum. Look at the weekly first. Trades markings here. Let me just turn them off. Yeah, it's really bullish, obviously. As you guys seen the moves, we got a trigger buy at the end of July. Same way, aligned with the Bitcoin, obviously, as Bitcoin goes up. We have, so the weekly is really bullish, similar to daily indicates a pullback. Yeah, we may have a real pullback on Ethereum because it kind of moves faster than Bitcoin. You see the VWAP waves getting smaller. We do have a green money flow, so maybe it continues a little bit. So it pulls back a little bit. Again, it's going to be buy the dip. So pullbacks to 2,700, perhaps 2,750, 2,800 will be a buy on Ethereum. Let me see on the 4 hour. Yeah, 4 hour indicates pullback as well. Let me see, 618 is 27. Yeah, so 27 to 2,800 is a buy zone for Ethereum. Let's see, any other requests, Karthik?
No, nothing. I don't see any other questions or comments. Are there any other altcoins that you're looking at to load up that's in a zone, in the buy zone that you're focused on?
Yeah, everything moved. I mean, one of my favorites that I bought at $6, a month ago, Terra Luna. It's pulling back. So maybe. So this thing, maybe I should have taken profits. I bought this at $6. It's at 13 right now. It was like as high as, I mean, let me see, last couple of days it hit 15, I think. I hit 16. Yeah. So I like this Terra Luna. So I definitely suggest you guys take a look. If it pulls back to, I guess, the daily 618 level, which is $10 level, probably good buy. It'll probably 3x from here. Obviously, it's already about the 3x from where I bought, which was $5.80 to $6 level. VeChain, one of my favorites. They're all pulling back with Bitcoin, right? So I get the market cipher signals to pull back, but VeChain, this is a great buy at the 0.06007 level, but after this move, perhaps pull back to 0.009 is a really good buy. This thing is gonna go back to 0.2, so that's a decent move, right? And you guys know I'm a big fan of Matic as well. These are all like Ethereum layer 2 solutions. Matic is a good buy below $1, so 0.9. If you can get even below 0.9 would be great. It'll probably 3x. Very, very bullish. And what else can I share with you guys? I think, Cardano, obviously, with the smart contracts implementation, definitely consider Cardano in your portfolio. It has a big follower base. It has a really nice price signal right now, actually, on the weekly. Is this right? No, this is not right. This is not the right one. Ignore that. Oh, it is. Okay, it is a nice buy. All right, weekly buy signal with the squeezes. I would consider this. I mean, obviously 140 is already moved a little bit, but it does, based on market cipher with the squeeze. We have a weekly buy signal, and money flow is green. So it's any pullback is a buy to 120, 130 level. Let me see daily. If there's a pullback indication. Yeah, there's potential pullback in daily. Yeah, potential pullback. But look at the nice curvature. And let me see, 4 hour. So definitely Cardano, I would consider 4 hour indicates a pullback. So on a pullback below 140, consider adding to your portfolio. Obviously, none of what I'm sharing or what Karthik is sharing is financial advice. Trade on your own risk. You know, I'm just sharing, and Karthik is sharing what we are doing with our own money. It's not a trading advice. Okay, this is just educational purposes only. A collaboration. All right, Karthik. I think that's it for this week, unless there are other questions. Looks like Hamid has a question. You want to?
Oh, it's what is it? 5, like the ticker symbol.
I don't know. Is that a symbol or is that high
Oh,
five?
it's a ticker symbol. Actually, the chart's bullish, my friend Amit. Hope you're in this trade already. You know, but if you look at the chart for last 1 year, been trading in this zone, kind of a box. You know, it's kind of trading in this higher, or you know, the overbought area right now. And it looks like the squeeze has fired to the upside. If you're already in this trade, congratulations. But I'm not going to buy anything here at the 280 Rs. Maybe I may wait for some pullback to these zones, or potentially to the oversold area right here would be a good buy, because if I look at my kind of indicators here, it's bullish, but the trend is kind of sideways. So I would focus more on the oversold. My edge is basically right at the edge here, edge of this channel, where would be my potential buy zones. But also keep in mind there's earnings coming up end of the month, August 30th or something like that. So you may want to kind of keep that in mind if you want to get long. But the charts, if you're already in the trade, oh yeah, congratulations. So that's a good. I don't know what they do on 5 below, but that looks like a potential for breakup.
In my views, it's so bullish. I mean, look at the weekly. Weekly is above the EMA cloud, and the squeeze seems to like it's gonna fire to the long. This thing could explode to the 228 level. So it's still energy in this. There's a trigger wave buy right here. There was on the weekly. Money flow is green. VWAP is positive. There's momentum wave going up. This has good couple more weeks of upside move. On the weekly, 3-day chart looks very bullish with the squeeze histogram to the upside. In fact, your target is like 224, which is the 1618 extension. Hamid, are you in this? I mean, this is crazy. This has a potential, if these squeezes fire following the lower time frames, like the daily squeeze fire to the upside, and if that triggers the weekly squeeze firing, there may be a significant move on this, another 10, 20 points. But like Karthik said, obviously it would have been much better to catch this, back down here when it was. So if there's any pullback, and if you want to risk some money to wait for the weekly to fire, if the weekly squeeze fires, this is a great example, Hamid. Thank you. This is exactly why we have this weekly squeeze program. It has a weekly squeeze that's like trending to the upside. So we'll see. perhaps it's going to be the earnings that'll trigger this thing.
Yeah, it's an interesting chart. If you scroll back, where it's come from, right, from $80 all the way to $200. So all these stocks are moved from the COVID lows. Hard for me to kind of entertain anything at these ranges. So definitely, I want to see some pullbacks before I kind of take the trade in the long side. But looks like there's a lot of consolidation happened for this year, right? Like big consolidation. So if it break out, maybe you get another big move here. So depending upon what these guys do, could be interesting to kind of watch this stock. So weekly, you said it's bullish, setting up bullishly as well. Is that right?
Yeah, weekly looks really bullish. Monthly, I mean, look, this thing gave buy signal with a trigger wave.
Yeah.
Where is this? July 1.
Gotcha.
I wish Amit was telling us this back then. This is this is monthly squeeze, and same thing could happen with the weekly squeeze. So if the weekly squeeze fires, this thing is going up to probably 1 or 2 ATR, so you're looking at 224s as a first target.
Yeah, I never look at the weekly. I mean, I should say I never look at the weekly charts, but my time frame is much shorter than your time frame or somebody else.
Yeah, I'm a more of a swing trader, right? So I kind of buy, but my swings are like a couple of days to a couple of weeks, not a couple of months. Like this had a like if you were doing this right here with the squeezes, and it fired to the downside, and it got like this really, really nasty pullback.
Yeah.
So
hope that helps.
This looks really bullish at this point. This wasn't here. This was a messed up chart back then. So we'll see. But it looks really bullish to me. It would have been better to kind of enter this into a trade on a 4-hour chart, like trigger waves, or the day trigger waves.
I guess you need one more stock, I think. Zebra, if you want to cover that too.
Yeah, let me take a look. Zebra. All right, what do these guys do?
It's technology company, I think.
All right, obviously very bullish on the weekly. It's already like 3 ATR, so there's not much room, but it's pretty bullish. Let me see daily chart. Yeah, as you can see, it has these pullbacks. So this could be a good buy on a pullback. So like this 549, 550 level. And it could pull back because it it does these waves. Just from symmetry perspective, you might get a pullback to 550, and market cipher kind of shows that as well, with a red diamond and a VWAP crossing down. So this thing will pull back to 550 level, and it's a buy the dip situation. So that's what I would do. I would, on pullbacks, and there's a nasty divergence here. It signaled actually at the top here, 570. You could have shorted, not shorted, but you could have probably exited if you were in a position. Money flow looks like nice curvature on the red coming to the positive. So any pullback, and I think pullback to 550 would be a really good buy.
Yeah, I actually agree with you on that. I think you wait for the pullback to happen, and look at this double green, which is awesome from my books. And if you see some pullbacks, like you said, anywhere in this area from 540 to 530 area, 530 to 540 area would be a potential buy. Like you said, the swings are, you can see some swings. I think we expect some swings to come back down here, like this pullback here. So this could be some symmetry, fib symmetry in here that you can work. But I think the zones in this area could be a buy from anywhere 530 to 540.
All right. Karthik, I think that's it for tonight. Let's wrap it up. And first of all, thank you all for joining. Hopefully this was helpful. I enjoy these collaborations between us. And obviously, no one knows what the market is going to do, but I still think one of these days we're going to have a nasty pullback. But like the charts indicate otherwise still. So, until market cipher tells me we're getting a big pullback, I think the bullish sentiment will continue for me at least.
Yeah, I think, thank you, E.O. I think thank you all again. Just keep an eye on the bonds and the market events for the upcoming week, and stick to your plan and follow your process. The outcomes will follow. So I think hang in there, and we'll take a look at it again next week. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. Have a great week. Let's make good money this week. Thank you all.